Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another Supatease video. In this one, I'm going to be covering the Survival Hunter. How much fun is the Survival Hunter? This is a specialization that I've kind of been giving a pretty tough rap to in terms of wanting to sell it to somebody because it was just a specialization that seemed so niche, so unique. Was it something that could be easily picked up? It just seemed so different. But after going to the PvP vendor and picking myself up a spear to be able to run the survival specialization, I was actually quickly falling in love with it. I just kind of put my action bar together last minute, realized that it was kind of this builder spender rotation where you're just having your focus accumulate, mashing out mongoose bites to stack it up as high as possible, building that focus back up with your kill commands, and then just going back to shredding with mongoose bite while you're looking at maintaining damage over time effects, depending on what covenant you are, the flayed shot, the serpent sting, and going for these big kill shot procs. So it actually ended up feeling like quite a powerhouse, and I was enjoying it a lot more. And actually on my stream today, I tried out all three specializations of Hunter, one after the other, to try and get a feel for them in terms of what was really feeling like the most fun overall. And I was actually, I'm feeling like I'm more on the side of survival at this point. Competitively, I think Beast Mastery is likely to always etch a bit ahead here. Marksman even still slightly ahead of survival, but it can definitely still compete, and you're going to be running the similar compositions with jungle. I've seen a lot of players actually running survival Shadow Priest. It's making me want to pick this up in other avenues of the game. And also in 9.2, you're going to have a lot to look forward to. You're going to be having amazing set bonuses focused on the wildfire bomb. So I'm anticipating that build to become even stronger. That was the build that I was running in this video to try and get as much consistent damage as possible, because I always love just running up the damage meter as high as possible. But you can see how I'm just quickly moving around the map with Harpoon, maintaining my damage over time effects, trying to utilize that mongoose bite stack as much as possible, tossing out my grenades, and I'm really just feeling like a G.I. Joe at this point, almost like a MacGyver, just making weapons out of nothing, running around and beating everybody up. And you really don't see a lot of people playing this specialization, and I think it's because it has kind of that aura to it, that it's kind of like, it's strange, it's different, it's unusual. Like maybe I won't be able to get into it as much, but as soon as I just kind of simplified it down to keep the dots up, spend your mongoose when you're full energy, spend your kill command when you're empty on energy, so you're just kind of like emptying that tank, reloading the ammo, emptying the tank, reloading the ammo, while keeping up the dots and just trying to keep on your target. It made understanding the specialization a lot easier for me, especially as the first time playing it. I was just kind of mashing out my grenades whenever I was getting them, and I was still able to, at the end of this battleground, actually top the damage meter, which I was really not expecting as a survival hunter, because I thought that there would be almost no way to do that in a random battleground, but I actually was by the end of this clip. You've got coordinated assaults for this massive cooldown window. It actually sometimes can almost feel as powerful as Celestial Alignment for a balanced druid when I was rolling it around, and has very similar conduits to increase its duration, so you can really just shove out a ton of damage. It actually feels surprisingly smooth once you give it a shot. I do again suggest maybe going to some training dummies for a little bit to practice that spending and then building and reloading of ammo and maintaining your dots at the same time. But you can still kind of get away with some leeway in terms of just kind of button bashing and just hitting whatever is on your action bar at any given time. And the way that the animations flow into each other is a completely unique experience. Like I've played pretty much everything in the game, and I would say survival is one of my most limited ones. And it is because it's usually so niche, not super competitive at the top end. But I'm almost regretting not trying it sooner at this point. So I would definitely give it with a high recommendation for you if you're looking for something as an investment for fun, as well as competitive options moving into the future for 9.2. If you're looking for something different and you want something to experiment with, definitely pick up the Survival Hunter, because you're going to play something that really nothing else feels like it. Although you can simplify it down as I did for its damage rotation, you're still focusing on the core components of trying to land freezing traps on healers out of stun locks and chain those crowd controls together. And you do bring some unique kind of root effects to the team with the tracker's net or with the steel trap, where you can root targets and completely immobilize them, move around them, use the aspect of the eagle to get the ranged damage and almost kind of like hybrid yourself between this melee DPS, ranged DPS kind of multi-purpose class. The one main drawback that I noticed with the specialization is going to be your consistent self-sustainability. So you're not going to be like a rep paladin, kind of just popping yourself back to full health at any moment. The way that you're going to be recovering health is going to be through things like exhilaration, which have a pretty long cooldown, but you can do these kind of cheeky plays with feign death to remove off your dots, and then going for camouflage and having the camouflage heal you back up through running it in your talent selection. And you can use that to kind of shore up the weakness if you're looking to try and kind of just do these types of battlegrounds as I am. Or even in arena, make that kind of play where you go for a feign death camo and just kind of heal yourself up and almost think of it like a rogue's vanish. It has this completely unique vibe to it in that regard. You're not going to be getting those big kind of chunky hits like the 30k Templar's verdicts and stuff like that, but your consistent damage is there. And almost any time you press a button, it feels like you're impacting, building up towards a big moment, especially if you're running this specifically Mongoose Bite kind of build and you're just ramping down your target. You can see I'm using my kill command procs. I've got the 200 item level conduits. I just basically just flipped over in one instance. I'm spending all my focus that I can. I'm at 5 stacks trying to maintain it. Ended up dropping it low on focus. Got to use kill command to get back up onto it. I've got my dots on the target. I'm using grenades whenever I can, stunning targets to prevent them from retreating, swapping targets, and just immediately blasting down the next one. And it was actually really fun. Like I'm going to be playing the spec, I think, a lot more moving into the future. When you're comparing the hunter specs to each other, I think Beast Mastery has a nice chill vibe to it where you are just constantly pumping out numbers. It's really easy to pick up and you're going to perform really well on it. Marksmanship Hunter brings in a lot of burst damage, but again, its main drawback is its lack of mobility, and that Marksmanship Hunter kind of got blasted with that. You could see how many Marksmanship Hunters there really are, and I'm just kind of moving forward, cutting them down with my grenades. Like, what is that? Like 3 Marksmanship Hunters in a row at this point in this clip, and you actually do surprisingly well into 1v1s against Marksmanship Hunters. They just don't really get a lot of pressure against you. Same thing for Beast Mastery Hunters. You actually can just run them down pretty easily, at least from my experience with it in this battleground. And I think that survival really doesn't get the love that it deserves. And now in 9.2, with all of those incoming changes to the game, it really could have an opportunity to shine. So it might be worth buying your survival stocks now, getting into it, learning how it plays, and then when 9.2 comes out and you've got all those new goodies coming your way, you could just completely blast the competition. It was at this point that I started trying to do like multi-dotting, trying to get my Serpent Sting onto multiple targets, almost the same way that Survival played in Mists of Pandaria, where you used to apply Serpent Sting through multi-shot and you would just top the meter. I was kind of trying to get that vibe going for it at this point because it was just a battleground. But your 1v1, your brawling capability, your crowd control chains are definitely going to put you in a competitive and fun position. It has such a fleshed out toolkit and kind of interesting feel to it, the way that you move around, like this harpoon, that I really don't think there's anything that feels like the harpoon in the game there. You almost feel like you're playing Legend of Zelda for a moment, and you can just bounce around. I recommend getting a pet that has mortal wounds. I'm not running that in this clip, but also making sure that you have a pet that has leech, again, to shore up the weaknesses of not having that self-sustainability or the healing. If you get a bit of leech on your gear, or not from your gear, sorry, from your pet, you're going to be able to heal yourself up a lot more, and you can still use that escape mechanism with the aspect of the turtle. And you can see me just pushing forward, running through targets, harpooning, jumping through the air, blasting targets, stunning them, swapping over, just really kind of shredding on the Survival Hunter, which, as I said, was just completely unexpected. I thought that I would just be totally lost picking up for the first time. I thought that it'd be kind of like so unbelievably challenging that I wouldn't be able to ever kind of figure it out, or I'd be overwhelmed, or the lack of self-sustainability would really hold me back. But inevitably it didn't. I simplified it down to builder spender, simplified it down to keep your dots up, simplified it down to just get on your target. And when you are overwhelmed and can't really think of what you need to do next, hit whatever lights up or feels good. You want to throw a grenade, throw a grenade. You want to throw a poison dart, throw a poison dart. You want to throw a kill command, throw a kill command. Like, it really didn't feel like it was the end of the world if I wasn't doing the rotation perfectly. So if you're worried about that, I wouldn't say that you should be worried about that. You definitely need to give it a try. It's definitely an underdog specialization for representation and kind of for reputation as well. But I think it's definitely worth picking up. And like I've already said, in 9.2, it could likely be amazing. Maybe the best specialization in the game. We will have to wait and see. But if you like these types of videos and you want to stay up to date with patch note changes, make sure you hit the subscribe button, because I update those videos here live on the channel as soon as they happen in real time. And if you'd like to follow me live on twitch.tv/Supatease, I am streaming every day there as well. We do viewer games, we're doing high rated arena pushes, and we're just trying to have a good time. So other than that, thank you very much for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one. Pick up a survival hunter.